Today, Bret Cartwright is joining us, and Bret has been kind enough to come into the office to share his story about learning how to day trade. So Bret, welcome today.
Thank you.
And so let's get started. Bret, can you tell us a little bit about what you were doing prior to day trading? What's your past experience?
I have a real estate and loan officer background, and I was rehabbing houses and did that with both licenses for probably 15 years, since about 2001 or two.
Okay,
yeah.
Great. So what led you into, what were you looking for that rehabbing houses and real estate and all that didn't happen?
Well, I was mainly, problem number one is that I was tied down to the local market. All of my hard money guys, all of my subcontractors, they're all local.
Okay.
And so I knew that as long as I stayed in that business, I was tied to Salt Lake. But I needed something I could do online that would allow me to live anywhere and not be tied down to Salt Lake anymore. So
Awesome.
that was what started the process.
So tell me a little bit about the journey, and you've told me this before, but how long did it take you to find us, and what was that process like?
I did a lot of research, a lot of due diligence, because I was, knew I was going to be serious about this. And I spent at least 6 months looking around. Like I told you, I flew to Irvine to check out a school, online trading academy, to go to their introductory thing. And I even went to a place in Dallas to check out their introductory thing, and ultimately ended up finding this place right in my own backyard. So it was really convenient, but the bottom line was I had not really heard what I was looking for in those other presentations, and the words that I heard here in the intro meeting were like, the bulb went on. I was like, that's what I'm after.
So what was that? What was that message that was missing the other places that?
Just strictly Forex. The other places were kind of focused on doing stocks, futures, options, and Forex, and learning the whole thing. And going through their programs was, number one, very expensive, 20, 30 grand if you went all the way.
Yeah.
And it was years to really get good and profitable.
So you came in the what now is the Trader Pro funding, where after going through coaching, you get a funded account. Before we get to that, let's talk a little bit about your coaching experience.
Okay.
So you were assigned a coach, and you're going through it. How was that process of learning how to use our leading indicators and how to follow the markets? And
it was lengthy.
Okay.
I know that they've designed this to technically knock it out in a few months, but that didn't happen for me.
Okay.
I probably, due to my schedule, missed some. I ultimately made them all up, but I didn't do it every week like clockwork.
Okay.
And so that drug it out a little bit. And like I mentioned, I actually purchased, I can't remember if it was either 2 or 3 of the additional 5-session coaching packages that are available after you finish your course.
Okay.
And so, because I just, I wanted to be good. I wanted to go all the way.
So you were live trading at this point, but said, I want that coaching to take me to extend into my live trading.
Yep, exactly.
Okay,
exactly.
perfect.
And I even got some from a different coach just to get different perspectives.
Okay.
Plus I have been used to be on Dale's Thursday night training a lot.
Okay.
So that was almost kind of like having another coach, because he would always answer the questions I had and everything. So yeah, I dove in, and for the better part of a year, I was in coaching one way or another.
Great.
Yeah.
And so you've been live trading now for about 2 years.
Couple
is that right?
years.
Okay. And if you had to jump into the market now without using the indicators, what would that be like for you?
I wouldn't do it. I have no idea. You would be pure gambling.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's the only way I can trade.
Awesome.
I can't do it without that.
So let's talk a little bit about the lifestyle of becoming a day trader. So what does that look like for you? How much time do you spend day trading?
25, 30 hours a week,
Okay.
roughly. Yeah, not that difficult. Not
And we were
hardcore.
talking about this earlier, but some people are morning people, some people are night people, and you seem to be a night owl. And
Yeah,
how did
I
that
was
work out for
always-
you when you started trading?
Yeah, I was always a night owl. Initially, that worked out great because, like I said, the midnight euro opening, the 1 a.m. British pound opening, and when you start learning just those pairs, it was nice to be up when they were those market opens and there was some good movement. Once you kind of figured it out, I know that the concept behind the on it is that it's a slow time,
Right.
so that you can, when you're new, you can handle it. And that's absolutely true. But when you get good, you like some volatility, you like some movement because it makes it a lot easier and you can feel trades quicker and stuff like that.
So how much do you go after per trade? Like what's the typical percentage?
Well, I was taught 2% of your account balance,
Okay.
And I've done a lot of that in between 1 and 2%. Sometimes I've pushed it, it depends, but I've learned hard lessons along the way about letting your margin, get down there,
Yeah.
getting stopped out, and I mean, I've done it all in both demo and live. And so, you eventually learn when you lose real money not to
Yeah.
do that again,
Those are
yeah.
costly lessons.
Yes, very costly. But I think that's probably true for just about everybody that's ultimately made it in this business. Everyone's got a story of an account they blew up.
Yeah, no, that's for sure.
In the beginning. So, yeah.
So one of the things that I get from a lot of our students and prospective students is, what can you expect to be making on a daily basis? Is it $50 a day? Is it $1,000 a day? And how does that work as you grow your account?
Well, okay. It's entirely dependent on your account balance because of margin.
Okay.
You have to keep margin way up there. So the dollar amount that you can make, if you've got a $10,000 account, making $100 per day trading session should be no problem, And there's 21, 22 trading days a month, so that's a couple grand.
Yeah.
And
be a mortgage
off
payment,
of
car
off of
payment.
$10,000, that's 20% in a month,
Right.
which is 240 APR.
Yeah.
So that's big. And then it just kind of goes up from there. You get a 50 grand, 100 grand in your account. You can sit down and comfortably walk away with $1,000, $1,500 per trading session, and not take any more risk than you were when you were at 10.
Awesome.
Because you have so much margin to work with, and as long as you don't get greedy,
Yep.
fine.
I think that's a key point too.
Yeah.
Is keeping the percentages lower, 1 to 2% per day, and not being greedy. Being able to say, you know what, I met my goal for today,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
stepping away.
Yep. Yeah, and that's good because you can get caught up in it, and you can end up, next thing you know, the sun's coming up, and it can definitely keep you interested and keep you up at night because it's fun. But ultimately, it's better if you don't do marathon trading sessions and you get sleep and when you're fresh.
Yeah.
I only trade when I'm fresh. I do not get up at 6 o'clock in the morning to make trades. I would be a complete zombie. That's just not me. Now, I know a lot of people here do, and they trade at like 6:30 is a good time because of announcements and stuff in New York. And so that's great, but that's just not me.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So Bret, as we finish this up, looking hindsight now, 2+ years, what advice would you give to somebody who's just coming into our program, just starting their coaching? Any words of advice to them?
I would certainly say stick with it, because if you make it to where where I'm at, where this has the potential to make you more money than any profession that you're in, period, and with ease, you can do it, in your jammies at home at night. or the morning,
and anywhere,
whatever.
right?
Yeah, and like I said, my motivation, you can live anywhere. Because I was, motivated to not have to stay in the Utah winters anymore because I'm just past that stage of my life. I like warm weather. So, yeah. So, yeah, on top of that, boy, in the live part, when you do go live, start small, ultra conservative, and just be disciplined. You've got to follow the fundamentals. Every time I ever got in trouble, I'd go back and look at it, and I had done something that was against my normal trading plan.
Yeah.
And or I had gotten greedy flat out and thought this is a sure thing and went for a bigger lot size or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Bret, thanks for joining us.
You're welcome.